dude's name. Hey, I'm Marshall Coop.
He'd be my friend. Down by the plain, where the Eldrazi grow, back to Nahiri's home, Sorin won't go, for if he does, Nahiri will say, I just destroyed Innistrad because you fucked up Zendikar. Down by the plain.
So down by the bay, I'll just try that, but I have no idea who that would be by then.
We could just say Raffi.
Nice. So you told me right before you were about to do it. What was the thing you just changed?
The line that I just
that you messed up.
I just fucked up. Yeah, I just messed up Innistrad because you fucked up Zendikar. Well, that's the whole point of Shadows over Innistrad.
Yeah, nice.
So Nahiri destroyed Innistrad because they fucked up Zendikar. You know,
nice.
I was going for that.
Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I am Adam Smith,
and I am Lowry Smith.
We are cousins, I believe. Something like that.
I'm not responding anymore.
After this weekend,
Is that what you
I don't know if we're cousins
No,
anymore.
we're fine. Whatever. Just being baby.
This weekend, we had our guys' weekend, and we actually go up to our grandparents' cabin, and we have
El Norte.
Part family, part friends.
Yeah,
that come up and
we try and get some games of Magic in and
nerd on Magic, and then we do some other things, golf or whatever, while we're up there. Have some adult beverages.
Yeah,
and in fact, we just got back from that with a flat tire.
Yeah, we had a flat tire. That was a great way of getting back.
It was ridiculous. We had this all planned out. Like, okay, get back to Adam's house.
Get this done real quick.
Talk about what we're going to talk about, and then we'll start the podcast, and then I can make T-ball. And
now we're just pressed for time.
Yeah.
Now we're just messed.
Yeah. So, anyways, what are we going to talk about this week?
I think your wife is going to be Nahiri. She's going to mess your stuff up for not.
Yeah, I know. I'm in trouble because I'm probably going to miss T-ball here.
Okay, so sorry. So what we'll talk about is some of the games that we played. We kind of used the new Commander product that just came out on Friday. It is currently Sunday, and you are that we are recording, and you're probably listening to it rapidly on Monday.
Yeah,
and
or throughout the week.
So we'll
And I apologize at the beginning. If you hear dogs and stuff above us, they're getting ready for T-ball, so we're
it's an active time.
There's
point.
Some stuff going on, but yeah. So that's segment one.
Segment 2 is going to be
core cards for Commander.
It's back in white.
It's back in white.
Back in white.
Nice.
We're just bringing back core cards for Commander, but yeah.
That seems to be when we look at our stats and stuff with everything. That's our most popular whenever we do these. So it seems like you guys like this. We haven't got comments that people like it, but we assume so by the numbers of people that listen to it.
We're going to run out of material on that pretty quick.
No, we have a backup to that.
5 colors and a couple multicolored things. And then artifacts we've already done.
Aren't we going to do every multicolor combination? So we got at least, 20 or something like that when you do all the... No, it's a lot more than that.
There's only like one good green-black card.
Those will be very short
episodes.
We'll just talk about it, say the card, just that card,
just
every
that
deck it can go in. Yeah. And then we finish with our... What do we finish with?
I don't know. What have we always done?
Smith Specs of the Week. Why am I doing the sounders?
Because I feel like we can make that. We can cut that up and use that.
We were discussing how we're going to add our sounders in. We need little sounders between each one. And Smith Specs of the Week we do every week. So we need an actual sounder.
I agree.
So I don't know. We're going to figure out something. Anyways, let's start off weekend wise.
So I think the biggest pull away is Saheeli deck is by far and away better than any of the other precons.
Does not look like on paper. Well, I guess it does on paper. It
could if you sit down and actually, but it's just
playing her out.
It's way more powerful than I anticipated. Even close.
So we were kind of discussing this. Saheeli's second ability, it being a plus, is kind of the thing that makes her ridiculous.
She'll +1 make a servo, +1 reduce the next artifact casting cost by as many artifacts as you have. That it feels like it should be a minus.
It would be, if it was a minus, it would still be a good card, but this makes it ridiculous. So it's just, all she's doing is building your army up, and then you just ultimate, which I think when we were discussing her originally, I was like, her ultimate is okay if you build the deck. If you build the deck around it, it's freaking amazing, because that's how I won multiple games with Saheeli.
And like
borderline one.
When you look at it, normally they're like Edgar was really powerful last year, and I think Saheeli is kind of that deck this year. Like we even when we broke off and started doing our normal like home built commanders, I've never seen it where like the precon of Saheeli was beating
built decks.
Yeah, and you're just like, holy shit, that is a legit.
Yeah,
you can upgrade Saheeli and become very competitive, pretty easy. I think.
But yeah, in the upgrades. There doesn't need to be a lot of them, but there's a couple you could probably change out of it.
We haven't really sat down and figured it out yet, but like that's Saheeli's really powerful.
Yeah. So first game we played all precons.
Yeah,
five. This took us forever.
So it was 2 Saheeli decks. Yeah. The other problem that we kind of didn't really see is nobody bought the Lord Windgrace deck or had it up there.
Yeah, we have it. We just didn't. Bring it.
It's coming in the mail. Like we ordered it on eBay. And
mine's sitting upstairs right now. I can't wait to open it.
Awesome.
I know what the cards are, so it doesn't matter about opening it. It's like, oh, I got these cards now. They're open and they're in fresh air.
So I do wish somebody could have maybe bought it beforehand, but we just didn't have.
We didn't plan that out necessarily. We had enough people that bought different decks. We just
and there was old precons,
3 Saheelis that got bought, two
Aminatus, and one.
You bought
Estrid,
the enchantment, right? Yeah.
And so, but Saheeli just kind of dominated pretty much every game. And then if another deck did win, it kind of just got lucky.
You mean my game? Where I was playing against two built decks. So I was playing against Trombley and our buddy Trombley and Jeremy, and they had their I don't remember what decks.
I think one was Brago and one was Grand Augustine.
Nope.
Blue white.
It was not Brago. It was the one where deal damage and then you can cast him. Why am I forgetting?
Oh, Rakdos.
Yeah, Rakdos. And then he had the cat one where all your...
Miri?
Yep, get +X for how many attacking creatures?
Boro.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the 2 I was playing, and by turn 4, I had 7 creatures out, and then I also had the Artifact Sphinx that anytime that an artifact creature deals damage to a player, gain a 1/1 Thopter. Yeah. And so by turn 9,
Sharding Sphinx,
I had 15 Thopters and about to kill both of them.
This is okay. I did hear this part.
So the turn before, I got Sorin, where my life got turned to 10, and then I got taken 1 damage. I don't remember how 1 damage got hit there, but I was at 9 for some reason. And so I'm about to ultimate Saheeli. And I played the Colossus.
Phyrexian, Solar Phyrexia.
Yeah, so I played it. Then I ultimated Saheeli, so my duplicate got haste. So I was just going to swing with 70 points of damage to one person. Or no, was it?
That's disgusting.
Yeah, no,
you were saying 70 earlier, so don't 70, just make it a fishtail. Just make it big.
70 to one person, and then attack with all the other creatures to the other person. But what also happened is the turn before, the person that Sorined me, Trombley, he went and found what card is it?
Price of Progress.
So, and he
did a Diabolic Intent for Price of Progress,
and he saw that I had 3. What that card does is it's 1 red, 1 colorless. It's an instant. Everybody takes 2 damage for how many non-basic lands they have. Yep. I had 3. I was sitting at 9. So he was hoping somehow on my turn I was playing a land and somehow getting another one or taking damage.
But 2 of those non-basics were artifacts.
And so when I was describing what was happening, he still thought that they were both dead and all that. And I was like, yeah, I actually have a copy of every artifact that's out here. And then I was like, it also includes these 2. And that was like the last thing I said. I was like, these 2. He's like, whoa. Wait, what? I was like, yeah, these 2 are there. And I'm like, oh shit, what's about to happen? He's like, all right, well that changes things. Bust that out, and I'm like, fuck!
Just killed you.
Yeah. I had 140 damage going all over the 2 people on like turn 10 or 9 or something. And then I get wiped out by that stupid thing.
That's I love that story.
But yeah, so that pre-con game, Saheeli ended up being the last 2 in that.
They were the last 2, and that was against the Atraxa partner deck. They were partners on that one.
Ridiculous.
That was really good. The bird was getting to be a 20/20. I was playing Aminatou. Your brother was playing Estrid.
I had Saheeli.
You had Saheeli.
Tyson had Saheeli.
Yeah, and so it
was kind of crazy because we had the 2 Saheelis. For some reason, Tyson's just wasn't. Mine was ramping like crazy. Mm-hmm. And Tyson's just took a while, but then once his ramped, it all caught up because you did a couple board wipe type things and kind of got
so I was getting kind of like targeted by the partner Atraxa commander a little bit. That's what it felt like a little bit, and so I kind of had a really fun like little play. Like turn 4, I had Yannette out, which is a Sphinx that plays an odd card off the top,
which almost seems like a better commander.
Yeah, it seemed really cool. But since I had it early, then the next turn I played Amanatu, drew a card, and then put I think it's Devastation Tide, where it returns all non-permanents to their hand.
Yep.
Because I was just getting picked on, and so I was able to just attack, play it for free, and then everything got bounced.
Yep.
And then it just stopped everybody for a turn. And then the next turn around, that turn, I think I played 2 Signets. Then the next turn I played Yannette, and like had a removal spell up in case somebody came after me somehow. Yeah. And then the next turn I played Amanatu again, and then drew a card, and then put Sarah Avatar on top, and then played Sarah Avatar for free on the attack step, and had a 32-32.
Yeah, that's right. That's how you got
7.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Like those two together feel really powerful and really cool.
So in that game, everybody kind of had a little spark of something where it was like, oh shit, that person. But the enchantment deck it had the slime. The slime was surprisingly.
That slime was really powerful
because we were like, you were trying to kill your own 32-32 to. Or no.
So I sent it over towards the partner Atraxa commander guy, and he had Atraxa out, and I was like, you could block my 32-32 and kill it, but it'd kill your thing, and then his guy would grow to be like a 40-40, or you could just take it. And I think he jumped with his commander like a 20-20,
because then he could cast it back again.
Yeah.
That was. Yeah, so then what ended up happening?
And then I died. Yeah, right after that.
Died, and then. One of the combos that worked a lot was is it Blasphemous Act, the 13 damage?
Solify Rexia into Blasphemous Act.
So I was able to do that. I saw
it happen like 3-4 times.
Yeah, that's crazy that happened 3 or 4 times because I did it there, and then we had another person do it later. Just making your stuff indestructible, and then 13 damage to everything just clears the board. Then you go through and you kill somebody.
road grading somebody for like 20-30.
So then that game ended with Saheeli winning.
Yeah, well, it came down to you too. So.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying.
Good job, Saheeli.
And then you played the enchantment one, right? Again, and you just said that
eventually,
it didn't work as well.
I played it again, and it just out of the box, it doesn't feel really good. Like the problem that I was having with Estrid was I would have her, and if I played her, she wouldn't do anything. Like she does nothing. Unless you have some really good permanents where you can like put the mass counter on it.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have like I was having trouble drawing creatures.
Yeah.
And so I was having auras stuck in my hand and like just spells I couldn't play. And it just felt super frustrating. At the end of the game I had like 13 mana down, still like 2 lands in my hand, 1 aura, and like I was about to ultimate Estrid off of like plus and 2ing her for nothing. I was just trying to ultimate to like bury it, and nobody even cared what I was doing. They were like, yeah, you can well, we're gonna kill you, but it doesn't matter what you're doing. So like that was really frustrating, and I looked at the comparison between Estrid and it kind of came up with like Nahiri, the pre-made white commander, like planeswalker from a few years back, and I went, the reason why Nahiri was so good was because you could be really heavy on your equipment in that deck and still get a creature. You play Nahiri, you put down a 1/1 that can equip whatever or like equipment you have out there.
Yeah.
With Estrid, there's no like
she's not creating anything.
There's
to
no
be able to put
creature
stuff on.
to help with your auras. Yeah. And so if you have a fistful of auras, they do like nothing. You know, you need those good creatures, and in that deck, like it's kind of almost like it's a higher curve, and so it's like a lot of the good creatures you want to put your auras on are like 5, 6, 7 mana, but you're doing almost nothing up until that point in the pre-con deck, and then you need to be playing auras to make it like even more badass. But like you do nothing forever. It feels like with Estrid being so cheap. Like,
I wish we would have got a little more playtest with her too, because that was only the 2, and they both kind of went bleh.
Yeah,
but that's the hard part is we had multiple games with Saheeli, and almost every single time Saheeli was competitive.
Was really powerful.
So I also, like you said, wish we would have got Lord Windgrace out there.
Yeah,
because we're probably not going to play that deck. I mean, we maybe can do that on the side at some point, but right now we're both focused on making our
we're going to make our own decks. Yeah,
Spotlight Commanders, Pedon Commanders. I don't know. Do we just call them Spotlight Commanders now, or pee on them? Do we like the pee? Do people like when we pee on stuff?
I don't personally like pee. Like, I like to get rid of it. We can say
you don't save it.
We can say that we spotlight the Pedon Commanders and make it just like a focused
spotlight
in on
of pee.
The pee. Yeah,
I like it.
We should stop.
But yeah, so we're not really going to be able to break that one down as much. I'd like to hear what people think of it. So if you want to get, we never did our freaking Twitter and stuff handles. You know that?
And it's right there.
I know. We have the white sheet in front of us to remind us. People don't know where to follow us now. It's because
just in for a special announcement. Where can you find the CommanderSmiths? Nobody cares.
It's really bad. We'll get it at the end. But that's funny.
If we remember.
That's what happens when we have
anymore.
We have kind of a week off because we did the
It's 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, we had a week off, so we weren't on that 1 week, and then so we're good at this.
CommanderSmiths.
Were you worried that you weren't going to spell it right there?
I didn't. I did not. I messed it up. But I'm still going. SMITH.
Oh man! All right. So should we move into our next segment?
.com.
Make sure.
Are we done? Is there anything else?
UM.
One card that I did, I found kind of interesting in the enchantment deck when your brother was playing it, was the like Propaganda Light, the one where if you're attacked, you get to draw a card.
Oh yeah.
I found that kind of interesting because like
when we talked about it, we were like,
It's just it seemed to stop like the random like 1 or 2 points thrown at your shade, but like
it won't stop the killing. It'll stop, like you said, the little stuff.
So you won't get like that incremental going away as everybody else is going, down to 36, 33. You'll kind of stay roughly around 38, 40, and then when the bigger creatures come out, they're like, well, you drawing a card is worth 8 damage, so boom.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I found interesting because I wanted to see how that card was kind of played against as well.
I think it's right there hand in hand with Propaganda.
Would you see?
I mean, Propaganda's up, one step above it. But I'm saying, like, if you're wanting to play multiples in a deck, if you're playing just a blue deck and you're trying to have
Pillow Fort
certain things to not attack you, that could be in there to help you with a little bit of draw.
I can totally agree. I think it's probably good enough to be in there.
Yeah, because you could use that Ensnaring Bridge, whatever. Not Ensnaring Bridge, whatever. But it's up there. It's not. It definitely would take Propaganda first. But if you're trying to find multiples in a deck with blue, I liked it. So that was cool to kind of see how certain things played out.
We should have probably looked up that one card, that the Thopter thing that taps for 3 different things. Makes a servo, makes a Thopter, makes a construct. I saw that played by David a couple times, and it was crazy good. Like, he was just going like Unwinding Clock with a couple of like artifact rocks, and just doing it every turn.
Yeah.
And you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So that seemed really good. One thing that I noticed is if you play with like Curse of Opulence like myself, I really like that card a lot. That's 1 red enchantment, and it curses an opponent, and whenever somebody attacks that cursed opponent, you and the attacker are attacking
one of the better
player
curses,
get a gold piece.
Mm-hmm.
So if you play Curse of Opulence, understand that Saheeli gets bonkers really quick because she'll even, send a servo at that person or like a Thopter, get there really quick. And then if they get 3 or 4 just free artifacts like the gold, it just speeds up that +1 that reduces the cost of the artifact so fast. So be wary of that, and or put Curse of Opulence in Saheeli deck.
Yeah, exactly. And this is kind of foreshadowing a little bit for spec stuff, but that golem thing for casting,
Geode Golem?
I didn't see that ever really come out. Anybody use
that?
I'm be interested to see how that actually works out. But yeah, there's some. If we would have got a little more play, because we played some other games too, and when we played our actual
Secret Hitler was super fun.
Yeah, that's a fun game. Another game, if you don't play Magic, if you want to play a different game for a little bit, try Secret Hitler. That's a pretty fun game.
It's a lot of fun.
And then we also played I played all 3 of my Spotlight commanders.
Yep.
So,
I played Kraven, Regna, and I played Muldrotha. I think those are the only two.
Yeah,
I didn't get into Animar or...
Slimefoot, Zender Split, and Eye of Chaos. See, I like to say his first name. I don't like his last name. Or wait, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
No, that time I said his
liar.
last name. Say I go.
It's fine.
And then, I played... I had Justin playing Arcades most of the time.
Yeah, Arcades was still really good.
Yeah,
it's really
a
good.
ridiculous deck.
So if you're on the fence of making a wall deck with Arcades, I'd highly
powerful.
suggest. It's really good.
And take a look at our site if you want to get an idea of where to start with your...
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a good drop.
Yeah, you like that? If you want to get an idea, I mean, that's kind of what the site is there for, or if we're going on tapped
to
out.
give you ideas. We're not telling you to make it like that.
Make this
but
deck
it,
exactly.
It gives you ideas.
Can if you want to, but you can go, I'll use this piece, or I'll change this part out.
I would like
to
say you should not copy us totally.
I think you can.
No.
More of our decks out there. I said decks.
Not dicks.
There you go.
Oh,
You're dirty, Lowry.
No, you waited for a dramatic pause.
All right, let's move on to our next segment, which is...
Are we copying each other here?
At the same time? 1, 2, 3.
Core cards for Commander. White.
Was it? Yeah.
I thought that we needed...
Did I do black, white? What'd you say before?
Just white.
Just white?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Anyways.
At least I had a pause there. You can still cut that core cards for Commander up right now.
Should I speed it up like I did with...
No. I'm glad you laughed.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
You laugh from
I think it's
the
funny.
chipmunks
The chipmunks
that are us.
That's singing and
I laugh from embarrassment.
That's what I love about it. And I love that you're like, that was good after I did that. And you're like, that was good, but I don't want that to be our sounder the whole time. I'm like, now I want it to only stay. I want to make this better. We'll see.
I'm glad you enjoyed this.
Maybe I'll double it up.
Just double it up.
All right, so where should we start? Let's start from the top of this. Let's do our removal stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So go for it.
Swords of Plowshare.
That's one to have them just like it.
Do we want to? We don't. I don't even think. So yeah, it exiles a creature for 1 white instant, and they gain life to its toughness. But
that's the best one.
No one cares.
Path to Exile gives them a land. The only reason why Path is more expensive is because it's used in Modern, where Swords can't. Yeah. So, but Swords is, I think, better for, life is easy to get.
Yeah. Ramping a player in a long game like Commander is, exiling for 1 white is really good. Yeah. So that's why it's worth it. But just gaining a couple life, or even 10 life in a Commander game that happens.
Yeah.
And so those two are fantastic.
And then kind of going in along lines with that, you can do Return to Dust, which is 2 white, 2 colorless. It's an exile, an artifact, or enchantment. If you cast a spell during your main phase, you get to do both.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty sweet spell to play for removal. What's another one?
Yeah, that wordage is a little inaccurate. You could do 2 enchantments or 2 artifacts.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can do... But you can do 2 things instead of just one.
Instead of just one. Yep.
And then we got, Grasp of Fate?
Grasp of Fate is probably my favorite version in a Commander game. So that's 2 colorless, 1 white. No, wrong. 2 white, 1 colorless enchantment. And then for each opponent, you get to remove or exile any permanent they control underneath it, and if Grasp of Fate leaves, then they go back into.
So it's a better Oblivion Ring.
Yeah, and there are many different variations on this that's out there.
And it was only a Commander printing, right? And it's only it's $10, I think, right now.
But it's in my opinion, it's the best one. Definitely. And then you have we said Oblivion Ring. You have Cast Out. Banishing Light, Ixalan's Binding. I mean, there's a long list of cards like this. So,
but the main one is if you were going to just have one.
Grasp of Fate.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's, yeah.
And then you get into the mass removals. You go to your what would you call signature mass removal?
Mass removal.
Wrath of God.
The OG is like the old god.
Old god.
Wrath of God. Wrath of God destroys every creature. Can't regenerate them. 2 white, 2 colorless sorcery.
Then they redid it with Day of Judgment. Does the exact same thing.
Other than they can't. Well, can they regenerate on that one?
Yes, they can.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that they changed on that one.
Yeah, and then we have... I think this one's actually pretty good. How do you say that? Auster.
I say austere.
Yeah, austere command. That one gives you
German accent.
Gives you 3 options to it. So it's 4. Okay, so it's let's see if I can do it off memory. It's 2 white, 3 colorless, right?
4
colors?
6.
Damn it! I was so freaking close. And then it's kill a creature with a greater power 4 or greater, or creatures with 3 or less.
Yeah, that's or
enchantments. Or artifacts.
Yep, and you get to choose 2 of those.
You get to choose 2. So you can potentially Wrath of God by choosing both, or you can destroy all enchantments, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of nice because you get an option to do...
Yeah. Like if you're like a small creature deck, you can go and just destroy all the bigger creatures and whatever you have the least amount of out of artifacts and enchantments, or if you're just way behind, destroy all the creatures.
Yeah.
It's...
Personally,
the commands are really great cards to have.
If you're looking for something to add to your deck where you're like, God, I really need removal. I don't have a lot of space. Like, I don't have any open spots, but I don't have any removal. Well, this kind of covers you on all bases because it kills your artifacts, it kills your enchantments, it kills creatures depending on your situation. So it's a very situational.
In a new card from core, I know we didn't talk about this one at all, but like from the new core set right now, Cleansing Nova is decently similar to that. It can destroy all creatures, all artifacts, or all enchantments. Yeah. And so it's similar, 5 mana instead of 6. And so that will probably be making it into more and more lists. It's just so new at this point.
Yeah. Then you have some honorable mentions with Fumigate, which is destroy and you gain life for each creature that gets killed.
5 mana. That's.
And then I also had on there Sunblast Angel. I mean, it's
I
a good card.
I actually really like that card
because
a lot.
You think about it, what it does, it comes into play and it destroys all tapped creatures. Well, most people are attacking during their turns, whatever way they're attacking
There's
you or
going to be
whatever.
some other tapped creatures out there. You just make sure you don't do it after you attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's be smart about this.
So it's almost like a one-sided Wrath of God, which is you always want to try to find that one-sided way to give you the advantage. Well, that's a really good, and it's not an expensive card at all. So because they printed it so many times.
Yeah, it has a promo that's super cheap and pretty cool foiling on that one. One of my favorite ones is Martial Coup.
That is a pretty good one.
So that's 2
I
white
always want to
and
say
X.
Coupe.
Yeah. like a car.
Yep, that's exactly Marshall Coupe. It's like a dude's name. Hey, I'm Marshall Coupe.
He'd be my friend. But that destroys all creatures in play, and then if X was 5 or greater, you get to put that many 1/1 soldier tokens into play. And so that it still is a nice wrath, but then it allows you to have an army afterwards of 5 or more. Depending on, it just feels really cool.
I just had an idea.
Uh-oh.
Somebody should do an alternate art with that. And they change it, or an unstable card. It should be Marshall Coupe, but it's a bunch of like Marshalls, so it's 5 of them at least, so that you get the. I don't know. I'm really working at this.
You mean like a couple of M&Ms sitting around like Marshall Mathers, and like they're all saying I'm the real Slim Shady, or what? What do you want here? I don't know any like famous Marshalls. Maybe like Fire Marshals or something.
That could work. Marshall, Marshall Coupe. A bunch of.
The unset could be Fire Marshal Coupe.
Should it be like the firefighter calendar Marshalls, so they don't know what their shirts off and everything? Muscly.
Yeah. Why not?
Hey,
sexualize the male body. That doesn't happen.
All right, let's move on to the next part. We got our Recursion. You have Sun Titan,
which is a
pretty good card. Do we need to explain what that one does?
When it comes into play or attacks, it brings back a permanent card in your graveyard of converted mana cost 3 or less. So you can get lands back and anything else that has died and or been put there by yourself.
And then you have Karmic Guide, which that's the one where when people attack... target your stuff. You get to do... Dang it.
No, Karmic Guide, just when it comes into play, it brings back a creature from your graveyard. Protection from black,
and has Echo. Right.
This ends up being a combo card, so we don't really play with this a whole ton.
No,
same thing with Revel Arc. It's just those are good cards to have if you're kind of doing that, but they're combo cards, so we don't really play with them.
Right. And then we get into we have a bunch of tutors. So White is very good at trying to find a bunch of stuff throughout your deck. They have quite a few. We got Enlightened Tutor is our main guy.
Classic.
Open the Armory.
It goes for auras or equipment.
Then you got Steel Shaper's Gift.
For 1 white mana, goes and gets you any equipment out of your deck.
You got Idyllic Tutor,
which searches for any enchantment, puts it into your hand.
Includes God enchantments.
Oh, gods. Yep.
Thalia's Lancers.
That can go and search for any legendary permanent in your deck.
I like how we do this. It's more of like a quiz for Lowry. That I just have to say the name and then we'll see if you know what it is. Sagara's Aid. Actually, that's not a...
That's not a search.
That's not a search. I put it next to that because it's part of...
That's fine.
Whatever, but that's a sweet-ass card. That's one of our
allows
specs.
you to cast equipments and auras at flash speed, and then they can equip for free.
Yeah.
It's 1 white enchantment.
And then this one's a little more expensive because of all the hype that was going into thinking it was unbanned, but Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, that card's... I mean, it's one
really
of my
good.
personal favorites. It's a 1 white, 1 colorless, 1/2. When it comes into play, go and put any equipment from your library into your hand.
I don't tend to play with it because of, like, you do this very similar with your decks is... It kind of has to go on flavor with what you're building. So if I'm building a deck that's heavily focused on equipment, hell yes.
Then it's definitely in there.
Most decks do have equipment in it, and this is very good to put in those decks, but I don't put it in unless it fits in with what I'm trying to do.
Well, and so to finish it off, its activated ability is to white and a colorless, tap it, put that any equipment from your hand into play for free.
Yeah. And so when you get those,
so that's the part that's kind of bonkers.
Yeah, because you get those equipment that cost like ridiculous amounts of mana just to come out of your freaking hand.
That's when I'll force it into a deck. Is like if I have a big equipment that I want to get in, I just want to play with it and see what it's like.
Yeah.
That's a way. Or I'll do like Godo, Bandit Warlord. Like I'll have both of those in there with Stone Hero Giant, and like try and get those big ones and just see how big and powerful I can make something. Like I can't remember it because I've never actually gotten it to work, but that it's 7 mana equipment, and then it's 1 to equip for 1. It gives +1/+0.
The knife. And then it flips over to the demon.
To the big demon.
Big black demon, yeah.
Whenever an opponent dies, you put 13 counters on it. That card seems so awesome.
I played that card in wrong color decks. Remember I put it in? You're like, that's a black card. I'm like, no, it's... Oh, fuck, he flips to a black card.
Color
Damn it.
Identity.
So I like that card. I've never been able to do the 13 counters before.
It's like you need to cheat out a huge equipment. Then you need that one of those creatures to deal it damage. And then you get to do something with that thing.
Yeah.
And then normally somebody plays Meek Stone and like taps it down somehow, and then you're just mad.
Damn it. All right, then we get into
probably
kind
has
of
vigilance.
our...
I'm probably an idiot.
Our
Google answers, I don't know.
We get into our stuff that basically stops people from attacking you. So kind of we were talking about with propaganda, well, you have your ghostly prison, and then all the stuff that goes
everything
with it.
else that's out there.
So you have, Windboard Muse...
It's
same thing.
Archangel
of Tithes,
which if it's untapped, they can't.
This one's
they have to pay 1, but then when it's attacking, they have to pay 1 to block your creatures.
That
seems really cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think the bonus is having the first part. Having them pay 1. Then
there was new one from Dominaria, which is like Bard, Steward of Argive. That you did not, we went over it. I'm just naming cards now.
Just naming cards. But I mean, Ghostly Prison is your jumping off point. I mean, that's your propaganda
Most
of this.
Definitely.
Windborn Muse is your creature of that. Does the exact same thing.
And then if you're playing those cards, I definitely suggest that you should check out Luminarch Ascension.
Yeah.
to
stop. Definitely have that in there because then people aren't doing damage to you and you're getting counters and making freaking angels.
Yeah, as long as it has 4 tokens on it. If you don't take damage during a player's turn, you put a counter on that Ascension. If it has 4 or more, you can pay 2 mana to make a 4/4 frickin' angel, and it's an enchantment. You can do it as much mana as you have.
Yeah,
it's crazy if you're playing
Luminarch
those cards.
Sucks when people get it out on turn 2. You're just
turn
like,
2.
What the hell? There's no way we can do damage to this fucker.
Yeah, most of the time I want to just like throw the card at him and hope that I get like a paper cut in and be like, you were permanently damaged.
And then you have Cathars Crusade. That isn't part of like the making people damage, but this is a pretty sweet card.
It's a really awesome card,
especially played in tokens or multi-creature.
I think we've talked about this one though. Like it takes a really long time to play this card. So if you do want to play with it and you're kind of abusing it, like in a Gave Guru of Swords deck, make sure that you are clean with the counters that are going on creatures, and make sure that you're good and quick at putting the counters on and having the proper counters that you're going to be using and stuff like that, because it does take forever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I make one token, one on there. Did I put one on that one? Like, you have your creatures in an order that you're going to be just bringing them big. So yeah, that is my gripe. Yeah.
Lowry's Gripes.
That's a terrible name for a segment.
Now we get into basically our stuff that affects other opponents. It's kind of fuck with the opponent shit. There was 2 swear words in that.
Why so aggressive?
First one is Grand Abolisher. That is, I was letting you do the testing. It's the
what?
You can only cast. It's right here.
You can only cast spells on your turn, I believe, or they can't
do activated
spells
abilities
on your turn.
or play spells on your turn.
Yeah,
and that works for artifacts, creatures, or enchantments.
Great card.
Yeah, it's a very good card. Then you get into Blind Obedience. We talked about this card just recently. Was it 2 casts ago? I think.
Yeah, no, with Arcades.
Yeah, so that's a pretty sweet card.
It taps down any creatures or artifacts that come into play for your opponents, and then it has
Extort.
So
you tap 1 black or white, and you can gain a life. Or everybody lose life, you gain 1 life. Or
not that much life.
As much life as as everybody lost there. Elish Norn, I don't have this card. I've wanted this card for a long time. I just have never picked it up. Is a freaking good card.
I played this one against my buddy Nick and Ken, and
you played it against me too. It's not a fun card to go against.
Pretty hard to fight against. Like, it just gives all opponents' creatures -2/-2, all your creatures +2/+2, and it's a 4/7 vigilance, and it wrecks.
Yeah.
Wrecks games, like, just really swings a card, like a game in your favor.
And like I said, that could be in any deck because it's going to affect everybody.
And it's really good against Saheeli the Gifted.
We will
kill
see.
Tokens. Kill those tokens.
We got Thalia. I don't know why I was saying.
Yeah.
You know what I was saying? Saheeli? Why
were you
was
trying to say, like?
I think I was looking at 2 different cards. I think I was trying to say the heretic part at the same time as the. I'm not gonna read anymore. I don't know.
Thalia, heretic, Cathar.
This is stupid.
Creatures in non-basic lands come into play tapped. 3/2 first strike. It's a solid delay tactic card, so easily added in a bunch of decks.
Even Mind Sensor. That's
It's the only white card that destroys lands, technically. So, like, I just actually had this played against me against Nick. So I go and fetch, and it's turn 3. He only has 3
you can only search the.
You can only look for the top 4. So I fetch. He plays it, and I did not get a land.
I was trying to think. I'm like, God, I don't remember this destroying lands. How does that work?
And so, and when that happens to you, I was just like, oh man, I just. I'm way behind now.
Because it does. Did you say it has flash? But
yeah, it
does have flash, so you
2/1 for a white and 2 colorless.
You can really mess with somebody for one thing, and then it really messes with them for the rest of the game.
Yeah, then you have to really debate. Do I have to dig those 4 for like a Vampire Tutor or something?
Then we have Authority of the Consuls,
similar to that other one we just talked about.
Which one? The one that I couldn't say?
No, you're fine on that one. Why am I blanking? Blind Obedience. So creatures come into play tapped. You gain 1 life for each.
And it's a 1-drop, which is pretty sweet.
Comes in,
1-drop enchantment. And then Lindvall, Keeper of Silence.
I love this card, but a lot of people hate it. It stops a lot of magic from being played. It's a 3/4 flyer. And then your opponents cannot activate it any ability. That includes mana abilities.
Trying to think which angel
it might say creature abilities, but it just stops so much from happening. So if you have friends, don't play this.
If you want to keep friends.
There it is. Yeah, it does say creature.
Activated abilities of creatures your opponent's control can't be activated. Yeah, she's pretty ridiculous.
It's quite good.
Yeah, she's a little spendy. I mean, she's been reprinted recently, but she's still a $20 card because she's that good.
Yeah.
Then we move into our protection stuff. And the mother of all protection is Mother of Ruins.
This one. Yeah, it's Mom.
Mother of Ruins.
Or
ruins. It said ruins there.
Runes.
Roads.
Super Troopers.
No. What is it?
Or is it Road Trip?
I was thinking it was Black Sheep.
Oh, it could be Black Sheep.
When they had the nitrous oxide in the back, and they totally get stoned by that.
Totally right.
Roads.
I just knew it was a stoner comedy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got a couple.
I was in the genre.
Yeah.
Mother of Ruins taps, and it gives any of your creatures protection of whatever color you so choose at that point. So it can stop spot removal, stops any type of damage that's coming towards it. You can like block with it, tap, give it self protection for whatever it's blocking. It's incredibly versatile. It's cheap because it's 1 mana for a 1/1. This is a legacy card. This
is a fucking Jake card right here.
Yeah. No, this
when we
card
used to play against our cousin. This was the card. That's the first place I remember seeing. I was like, God damn it, with the damn Mother of Ruins crap.
No, this card is incredible. Get yourself one, and you should be convincing yourself, like, if it's not in the deck, you better have a reason.
Yeah, Mother of Ruins. That's your easiest. If you have white, that's your easiest protection spell. Yeah. And it's not only. I mean, you have your Lightning Greaves and your Swift Boots, but this gets you to go through. Like if you're trying to get a creature to hit a person, you just give it protection and boom, it goes right through.
If they're one colored, they are fuck colored.
Yeah.
So I highly suggest. Yeah, just it's cheap. It's like $2-3.
Yeah, because they reprint. It was expensive until they started reprinting it.
Yeah, it's like $4 or $5 at best. But they put it in a
Commander That's double
product.
Of what you just said before. See, that's
sell,
really
sell,
expensive.
Or buy. Bye.
Bye.
You forced me to listen to that in high school.
It's an amazing song. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it is not.
JT and the Gang. All right,
I'm pretty sure they called NSYNC. That's like an awful band name.
It's JT and the Gang. That's what it should be because that's really...
Avacyn, Angel of Hope, is an amazing card in white that we are specifically talking about right now.
We're not talking about JT and the Gang?
We aren't. We're talking about Avacyn and the badassery.
Yeah, Avacyn.
So it gives all of your permanents indestructible. 8/8 Flying Vigilance for 8,
which includes her because she is indestructible.
Yeah, she is
pretty ridiculous.
If you have friends and you hate them, then you can play this card. So it's hard to deal with. Then you know. Do we want to move on?
Yeah, let's move on. No, I was just trying to decide if we want to talk about Iona yet, but
I think they're one and the other. Yeah, let's go with Iona, Shield of Emeria.
That's in a different spot, but Iona, basically another angel, a lot of mana to come out, but when you have her come out, you get to choose a color, and your opponents can't play.
Not just opponents. Nobody can play.
Oh, is it just your opponents can't.
Oh, your opponents can't cast.
Yeah, you can.
Spells of the chosen color. All right.
So it's a completely one-sided. You can.
Obviously, I don't play this card because I'm not always a dickhead.
I am
always a dickhead.
I wish I could call you drunk because you don't have a beer.
I don't.
You're not being a dick.
Nope.
So I'm not going to call you drunk. Anyway, so yeah, this card is pretty ridiculous, especially if you are playing a monocolor or even a 2-color deck, or if you have multiplayer or people that have the same colors.
Now I kind of want to tell the story from this weekend as well with Iona. The one that I stepped in on a game. I was in a deck that was red, white, and black, and so there was an Iona out there that was shutting down black. And then somebody played Clever Impersonator and copied it and said white. So I couldn't play black or white. And then what they did, the person did... the Saheeli player did Soul of Phyrexia, Indestructible, Blasphemous Act, destroy all of them. Then I'm like, hey, I can play my white cards then. He comes to kill me that same turn, and I play... damn it. It's an enchantment with Flash, and then I just removed one card, survived to 6. Next turn, I get to play a card that allows me to put 2 1/1 soldiers into play, and then I block, and then I sacrifice all of my lands before, and then I brought in Greater Garganon and then killed one of his guys, and I survived at 2. And then I have no land, and I'm at 2, and he has a bunch of flyers, and then definitely I die. But the Saheeli player left a bunch of time and resources towards me. And that's my story about Iona.
Cool story, Hansel.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because I sat down with those two and I was just like,
can't play anything.
So
nice. Karmic Justice. This is what I was thinking about before. Okay. So then this one is if they target any
of your non-creature spells and destroy it.
then
you get to destroy whatever you want of theirs.
Exactly.
So generally, somebody's just going to look at that and go, well, I'm going to destroy Karmic Justice first, and then you destroy whatever you want of theirs.
Yeah.
Because if they're not, then they're doing it wrong. Like, they must not have a spell that can target it.
Then one card that I actually liked recently that you started playing with, and I didn't even know about it, was Eldrazi Displacer. That's kind of a sweet protection card right there.
It's a really cool card. So what it does, you can pay a colorless, and then, well... It's a diamond. No, it's a diamond. Diamond and two colorless.
Yeah. It's white, 1 and 2 to come out. 1 white and 2 colorless to come out.
But nobody cares about that. The ability is it blinks any creature in play, and then it comes back into play
I believe it's your creature, isn't it?
No, it's any creature.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, if somebody's attacking you, you can just blink it, and it comes into play tapped. If you have a creature, your own creature that has a ETB effect, you can do that. Training Grounds makes it bonkers, where you just blink a ton of stuff for a lot of great value. Are you checking on my...
Yes, I am. I just want to make sure that we aren't giving false... Yes, return target creature. Yeah, you're right. Another target. But you can't do him. You can't do him, though.
Yeah, another. I would agree with that.
You can't do him. He's pretty sexy. You can't do him, Lowry. Keep it in your pants.
Believe me. Blindly.
And then the mother of all ruins, our mother of...
We already did that.
No. Sorry. I was saying Teferi's protection.
That's not on my list. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So
it didn't get added to my list. It's on my list. I would love it.
Teferi's protection is... We've talked about this card
Fantastic.
From last year's Commander set, and people are realizing it also because I think it is getting used in Vintage, isn't it?
Legacy?
Or is it Legacy? Sorry.
It could be. It's a older format card. But it's really powerful.
The phasing, phase all your stuff out, and
your life total doesn't change.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's not necessarily a game winner, but it's a game changer, I think.
If you're able to go around it, like, it doesn't...
I haven't seen... But what I'm saying is, like, when I see this card play... I've seen it played a lot. We've been playing it a lot. It doesn't always win, like what Cyclonic Rift does, what's red one, taking all the creatures...
no, I'm letting you.
You're just going to let me sit there.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
But, so you know what I'm saying? But when you play Cyclonic Rift... If it's late game, you should win the game. If it's early game, I can see, like, turn 7 or whatever, turn 5, you don't necessarily win. This, I've seen it go both ways. Like, it's kind of it depends on your situation. I guess that's with everything, so that was a really stupid statement right there. But more often than not, when I see Cyclonic Rift, that person generally wins.
Yeah.
This, I've seen it. Sometimes
they shouldn't be taking last place.
Well, yeah, it normally saves a person for that turn, and then sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. All right, cool story. That's my third cool story, Hansel, of this episode.
White does a really good job. Kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it's better than red.
Yeah. Which is our next core cards. This is gonna be interesting.
But Land Tax is a great card.
Amazing card. So glad they reprinted that.
If you have an opponent that has more land than you go and search for 3 basics and put them into your hand. That's simple. It's great card advantage. It's deck thinning. It's a shuffle effect. It's just an amazing card. Go get your Battle Bond now.
Yeah, I get that. Knight of the White Orchid, that is pretty much the same thing. You just have to have... No, you have to have somebody have...
Well, yeah, when it comes into the battlefield, you get to go and search for planes, put it into play tapped.
If somebody has more land than you.
Yep.
You just have to have one person.
2/2
first
for
strike.
2 white, first strike. Yeah,
Knight.
It's a good card. It's blinkable.
And is it a basic forest or a forest?
No, it's planes. Any planes. It can be any plane, so you can go and get like a shock or a duel or whatever.
Nice.
Do you know what's probably better than that is Bore's Charger.
Which one?
That's fine. Nothing.
Which one?
Check it out when you're doing the editing.
I thought you were about to talk about this one. The next one's one of my favorites. I've liked this one for a long time. Weathered Wayfarer. That one's awesome because it's any
land.
Any freaking land card and put it into your hand.
It's a 1 white, 1/1. And then
tap
if
one
an opponent has more land than you, 1 white, tap it, search for any land, put it in your hand.
It's stupid good.
Yeah, that's getting any. Whenever a card states get any land, it becomes
that should set
just going. Ooh,
holy crap! That's a good card.
That. Yeah. That's why Primeval Titan is banned. You got
that's why that's the
treasure
only
map from Zendikar that goes
only Titan that's banned in
Sylvan
this.
Scrying. These are really good cards just because they state go and get any land. Crop rotation is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like these cards are just really good. So moving on.
And the last one is our Tithe, which is one of ours that we talked about for the reserve list, and it just keeps going up too. So we're at $18 now, but that's also a search for a plains. It's not a basic. It's tap one.
Just plains. Yeah. So
so search for a plains card. If you control, what is it, fewer lands than another opponent. So it's a whole thing that we're doing there. You get to go search for 2.
And if not, you get to go get 1.
Yeah, 1 of any card for 1 drop.
Oh, any plane.
Any plane, sorry. Yeah. And it's an instant. So that's kind of nice because if you're the person that, you just let somebody play their land, they're ahead of you.
You can do it at end of turn, boom, and then you can just get ahead.
Get yours.
Yeah.
All right, what's our next section?
Ones that affect the opponent. Yeah,
we already did that.
We
we got Rest in Peace.
Yeah. That is 1 white, 1 colorless enchantment. Remove all graveyards from the game when it comes into play, and then any cards that go into the graveyard are removed from the game. It's simple, sweet. It's if you're not playing Sun Titan, Karmic Guide, Revel Arc, you should probably put this in your deck because you're not going to have like good enough recursion as other green black decks, Marin and stuff like that. There's plenty of graveyard decks out there. If you have one, if you're playing against one in your community, you should at least consider.
How often do you play with
Rest in Peace?
I don't have it in a lot of decks.
I like Relic of Progenitus better, but it depends on how much graveyard hate that I need, and I don't.
We don't have a lot of decks that we have to deal with.
I play against Nick's Carador deck. And that's
going against your
Marin is a heavy one out there.
Well, I think going against your
Marcel.
No, the Spotlight Commander. It might be good to go against you with that one because you're playing stuff from your graveyard.
Oh yeah, Vivictus Asmati.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
not Vivictus. The other one. Mildrotha?
Oh, Mildrotha. Yeah. Definitely that would be a good one to go against.
Maybe I might need to start putting this in my decks.
I told you.
Because that was your one game. We're going back to the Commander or this weekend. Mildrotha, you had a pretty good. Was that one of your games that you annihilated?
It was awesome. Like, so like people are playing Planeswalker Commanders. I wanted to win one, so and so like I milled Vampire Hexmage and I recast that, and then I'm able to cast Pattern of Rebirth on that, sacrifice, kill somebody's Planeswalker. And then I went and got Emrakul and put it into play. The Promised End. Next turn, go and do that. Kill somebody else's Planeswalker. Go and get another huge creature, like smash face with Emrakul. It was disgusting.
On the drive home, he just kept, I'm sorry, Tyson, you had to deal with Mildrotha. All right, so then this last category I have everything in as good cards.
Solid cards.
Archangel of Thune, that's the flying lifelink angel. When you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on all your creatures.
Yeah, classic.
Sarah's Ascendant.
It's bonkers. Should be banned.
1 drop for a 1/1. But if you have 30 or more life, it gains 5+5 and flying.
So you could have a turn 1 6/6 flying lifelink. Like, it's stupid.
Or it does have lifelink. I said not
it starts with lifelink and then it gains flying.
That's right.
It's like, why does it need to gain flying?
And then why don't you say the last?
You're gonna
we just wrote that down later. Butcher that.
Where are we? Yeah. Okay. Michiko Konda. Damn it! Forgot that last part. So it's 3 mana, 1 white creature, and whenever you are dealt damage by an opponent, that opponent sacrifices a permanent they control. So that count, like if they hit you with 3 creatures, they need to sacrifice 3 permanents. If they hit you with a lightning bolt, or whatever, don't judge me. They have to sacrifice a permanent. If they have any instance of dealing you damage, they sacrifice a permanent. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
You can even be like, you can choose how many permanents you want them to sacrifice, and be like, well, I block, and I'll take 1 damage from 3 different creatures.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet card. I do not have that card, and I also don't have this next one either.
Reconnaissance,
which I do want to get this card.
This card's one of my favorites as well. I love Magic.
I love. Is that why you have a podcast?
Yeah. 1 white enchantment. You can pay.
Larry got a magic boner.
Just camping. So you can, if you're attacking with a creature, you can untap it and remove it from combat whenever you're attacking. Yeah. So like the thing that
you just all out attack,
and then whatever
ones are blocked,
you just untap them.
Unless yours are going to kill theirs, let those go through. But
if somebody sits down and be like fog effect, and you're like, well, I'm going to untap everything and remove it.
Now this does state during attacking, so you can't wait until after you're going into your second main phase and untap them. It has to be during that attacking
during
part.
Attack step. You're removing it from attacking.
Yeah.
The thing is, I recall reading up on some like tricks that you can definitely do with this. I just don't recall them, and I don't really use those tricks too much. Mm-hmm. But they are. Go find them on the internet somewhere, and hopefully they're accurate. Have fun.
And then we added Aura of Silence.
Yeah, I love this card.
What was that again?
2 white, 1 colorless enchantment. Your opponent's artifacts and enchantments cost 2 more to play. You can sacrifice it to destroy target enchantment or artifact. This card is fantastic with Sun Titan. And
you just started using this card again because I just saw it recently.
A lot of things kind of go and ebb and flow. Like I'm like, I love this card, and then I put it in
Mirage?
a bunch.
Is that what it's from?
No.
That's what I feel like the art was from. Now I kind of want to pull it up to see. I will. But talk about our...
It's a commander card. You're fine.
Our Planeswalker.
I think there are a couple of Planeswalkers, but right now we're going to talk about Elspeth Sun's Champion. And...
that's why I was thinking it's Weatherlight. It's old. This is the one that I have. I have the Weatherlight one. 266, hell yeah! But yeah, so we got... You want Elspeth up?
Yes. I can't remember everything that they do.
2 white, 4 colorless. And she has 4 loyalty counters that comes
+1, put 3/1/1 into play.
Then
-3.
Destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. So this is actually one that potentially could be in Arcades deck because you're kind of focused on...
or a Dorn deck.
Yeah. And then your ultimate, which is you get the emblem creatures you control, get 2/2... and have flying. Yeah. So that is pretty sweet.
So it can,
in general,
it makes an army.
You have a little bit of removal in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty good signature. I mean, there's a couple other Planeswalkers.
I like Elspeth Tyrell.
Yeah.
I'm just starting. I just got my first Gideon ally of Zendikar, so I want to start trying to work that into decks. See how that is, but I don't know about that one yet.
All right. Any others we wanted to add at all?
I think I went off script enough for you.
All right, so let's move into our
Smiths Picks of the
week. I didn't know we were going that fast.
Slow.
Why did you go so fast?
Well, you like the chipmunks so much that I felt Smiths Picks of the week. Hey there, right. Superman. You
Superman.
Did a jolly good job there. I'm being like Jimmy. You don't know. Jimmy's his best friend at the Daily. God damn it.
All right, so why don't we start with your first... your first... What is your first spec of the week? So...
Okay, for my Commander Spotlight, I'm going to be trying to work with Estrid, the new Planeswalker. So as I was kind of digging around, some cards that I think that are maybe undervalued, that seem like they could be pretty good. So this one, Savor the Moment. It's 2 blue, 1 colorless. You get to take another turn, but you skip your untap step. But if you have, auras on cards, you're able to actually just untap cards anyway. And then you're getting that advantage, and you have a really cheap extra turn spell off of that. So that feels like it can be really powerful within that card. It's $4. It's in between $4 and $5. It's from Shadowmoor, which wasn't a super open set. Right now, you're seeing Enchanted Evening up to 20 plus. It's gained like $17 in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's just not a super open set. This is something that I can see going up. Foil's sitting around 15.
And it's such an old set, so you could go either way with this. If you got the foils here, You could probably, if this really starts to catch on, I mean, so, a 3-drop extra turn.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you...
this is really good with Sarah Angel.
Yeah, if you're playing a lot of Vigilance stuff and you're like you're saying untapping and everything with that.
I play this in my Derevi Imperial Tactician deck, which untaps a bunch of stuff. If you have GD, anything that untaps all your creatures, it can just really work in your favor.
Well, this could even work with Saheeli, and you're using the Unwinding Clock with everything untapping anyways during the all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this card can be. I think it's undervalued at 5 for extra turn if you're able to.
Yeah, and it's only printing, so 5 would be you probably could get around 4-ish, a little less than 4, or not less than around 4. And it's only printing, so yeah, I like it.
Go for it.
Mine pretty much. I was out of town, so mine are pretty much sticking with what I experienced from the Commander stuff. So I wasn't able to actually spec on a whole bunch of stuff, but the stuff from the Commander, I know we've talked about cards we liked, and I'm still on board with this because I was on board with Furies Protection right off the bat when that one came out, and everybody was. I mean, that card went crazy.
Yeah, that was easy to see that it's pretty crazy.
So mine from this set, I'm all about Treasure Nabber. That's just. It's a ridiculous card. We didn't actually see it ever in action. I never saw it cast once for me.
Tyson cast it once, but it died before anybody did anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it was a big enough threat that somebody was like, gotta kill it? Or
it was a wrath. It was just
so it wasn't
we were already so far behind because the other Saheeli player was just going off, and it was just like, kill everything.
Wait, was that when I was in that?
No. It was Tyson and David.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
Me and Mark.
Gotcha.
And so me and Mark were doing literally. I had EDHREC. And Mark had Amanatu, which does nothing but stays alive, towards EDHREC just does nothing and dies. But Saheeli's were just kind of going back and forth. And,
yeah. See, this card in itself, it's a $10 card. It's kind of expensive. I could see this rising $15, $20.
This is a great Commander card.
Yeah, because, Commander card, it isn't a big enough threat where people are going to want to waste a kill spell on it because it's not taking their artifacts. They get it back. So it's not like, well... Yeah, I guess you're getting the benefit, blah, 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 but you're not keeping my stuff unless you build a deck around killing their stuff.
Now, one interesting thing that we ran into there during that deck was with it, if they actually tap it on your turn when you have Treasure Nabber, you would get it, but you also get to keep it until the end of your next turn.
Yeah.
And that's the really cool thing, because the other Saheeli
player... I get what
you're
saying. So if it's on your turn...
Because it states on it, you get to you give it back at the end of your next turn.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of at end of turn.
End of your turn.
Or end of your turn. So it says next turn. So if they do it on your turn...
You get to get it.
You get it, get to use it, and then you get to get it and use it again, and they actually don't get it back until that next turn.
Yeah.
And so that's a little interesting thing to...
Red is lacking with mono ramp and all that, and this could definitely help you out. And that's why I feel
rocks.
That's why I would think this goes into every freaking red deck. I've said it before, but I'm sticking with that. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know I did it in that voice, but I did. Yeah, Go ahead, Larry.
No, don't mind me. I just came up with a good song idea.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
You got to write it down in the middle of the podcast. All right, wait a second. Hang on, pause, guys. I got a song idea here.
It's a ways out. Don't worry about it.
I am not cutting that out.
Okay, so back to my turn. So one that we have talked about before, and this really helps a lot, but open the Armory, which is, we just talked about it in the podcast here. 1 white, 1 colorless sorcery. Go and search for any aura or equipment and put it into your hand.
I'm assuming you're saying
foils. Yeah,
yes,
foils.
Because
go for the foils.
The others are...
I mean, you can pick up a ton of the non-foils. They're super cheap, but the foils are sitting in between $3 and $4.
Yeah, I used to have about 500 of these non-foils.
The foils? Oh, non-foils,
yeah. The non-foils. I got rid of half of them. I think I still have about 200 of these still.
Okay.
Because that was my I'm going after foil stuff, and I was like, oh, this card it's a tutor. I mean, tutors are good. They're always good, and they tend to go up.
Definitely, I think this is a really solid card. It's a cheap one that goes for aura, gets it into your hand. It can be used in Ural the Miststalker, Bruna, Light of Alabaster, any aura heavy deck, and then EDHREC, and then you have the 2 new ones that have also just come out. So I think this is a nice tutor in that deck.
The only downfall I see of this card is just because it was an uncommon printing and such a high printing. So that's why it's like it might take a little longer, but I definitely agree that it will go up, and that's why foils I would definitely agree with.
I think foils. I wouldn't expect anything to, it's not a buy and then dump type thing. I don't think it's gonna go up. I think it's an incremental growth over.
I think the non-foils, this is the peak, is getting to a couple bucks if it could get to that, but that's a little way down the road. If that gets to a couple bucks, this is going to get to 10 to 15.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with that.
But yeah, I definitely like it. It's a cheap tutor too. I mean, just the 2 to find one or the other. Going with the same thing I was talking about with, the commander stuff, looking at stuff that worked. We're just gonna say Saheeli. Saheeli is a freaking good planeswalker, and making her your commander, people are gonna make that not only just their commander, but it's gonna be in your 99, because it's just, if you're in an artifact deck and you don't want her necessarily to be your commander, but now I'm like,
yeah, I'll probably just slide her into my Brea deck.
Yeah.
That's that good. It's easy to get it into that.
Brea's your number 1 artifact commander. This could easily slide into the 2 spot.
I think this could be number 2 pretty easy. Yeah. This is really good.
Where I was saying before, I was like, I'd rather have blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this is actually probably number 2 for me.
Quite good.
Yeah. So she's what do we figure? $7 right now?
Yeah, roughly $7.
Card Kingdom. You might be able to get her a little cheaper TCG, but about $7 right now. That's pretty cheap for a really freaking good planeswalker.
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna stop. Never mind. I don't want that idea out there. Like, the question is it good enough for Legacy? Oh. I don't think so, but it's blue, so you can use it as...
It is a 4-drop. It's not a ridiculous...
It's not quite out of there. Jason Mind Sculptor is used in Legacy. Could it be good enough?
If that happened, then she'll go way the hell up. If she goes...
That's where you're looking for the potential of... Yeah. That's where I'm like... You can easily put your foot in your mouth when you're speccing like this, and the question is though, like, where is the ceiling?
Yeah,
can it make it? I don't think it's probably not good enough to make it in. Well, again, foot in the mouth, but is it good enough to make an vintage? Probably not.
Yeah,
Legacy.
Maybe.
There's potential there if you're building with an artifact deck, and there are starting to be, or not starting. There are artifact decks out there, but does it need this? No. Is it good enough to start a new archetype? I don't know.
And for Commander, if it just stays with just Commander, that doesn't mean
it's going to creep up.
Yeah, it's going to go up. It doesn't mean that it's just going to stay at $7. It means if this keeps getting bought, people can't get this in packs. You can only get it from buying the sets. It's going to keep going up if people keep using it in decks. So
here's in my mind right now, this is the best
investment card for all this.
Well, this is definitely the best Planeswalker they just printed. Unless Lord Windgrace blows my mind, but it's definitely better than Estrid. And Amanatu does a lot of fluff in my mind at this point. Like, it just doesn't do enough.
Yeah.
But it's cheap, so Amanatu might be deceptively powerful. Just
until somebody finds it broken. Until they find the breaking, then it'll go crazy.
But right now, it just feels like throw Saheeli in a deck with a bunch of artifacts, and you're doing golden. Really well.
Yeah. And it can be really simple. Big artifacts. That was the crazy thing, was that your cost goes down that much. I'm playing 7, 10. I was playing the 10 drop for 2.
Yeah.
The 12/12 that turns into a 6/12
when it dies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
It seems really powerful.
Yeah. All right. Next spec for you, Larry. Last spec.
Sovereigns of Lost Alara.
I do like that card.
1 white, 1 blue, 4 colorless. It has Exalted, and then whenever a creature attacks alone, you get to go and search for an aura and attach it to that attacking creature. So this is where you go and get your bomb of an aura.
Yeah, we talked about that where we were...
maybe in the past, yeah.
No, it's when we were talking about the enchantment deck, where we were talking about how this card was good for... What is it? Eldrazi Conscription.
Yeah.
Boom. You just go get that.
That was actually in Standard together.
Yeah. That's
people would ramp with Birds of Paradise,
that's crazy.
Cast this, and then
go get Eldrazi
if they had
Conscription.
One extra ramp creature out, they would attack with it and get Eldrazi Conscription. It was bonkers.
Yeah, that's
it was
pretty
really
crazy.
fun to look. I remember watching that.
You thinking just the regulars on? Yeah, because foil spikes.
Foils did spike already, so they're sitting around 15. And so
yeah, I would say
sucks,
your regulars, because your regulars haven't moved much.
Yeah, your regulars are pretty normal. They're in between.
They're starting to move, I should say. Yeah,
I think they're well worth the buy at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
The foils, again,
they could go higher, but you're coming in pretty
depends
high.
Depends on how. I don't know if they didn't print an aura that made it crazy to get with, so you're still going with Eldrazi Conscription.
Mm-hmm.
Because that card's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Spec
where
on Eldrazi Conscription. I'm just kidding.
It's
that's
like
mine. What do you know? I'm just kidding.
So that's I think just getting a tutor and using it right away. This is pretty similar in my mind to like a Stone Hewer Giant for equipment or Stoneforge Mystic. It's just not on that level because auras don't really have a deck until probably now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so we will see how amazing my Estra deck's going to be.
And the last one, and
it's probably not.
The last spec I have, and this isn't something that we noticed from the weekend. It's still a card that we think is pretty good with this set, is the Geode Golem, and it's 5 for a 5/3 trample, but whenever it deals damage to a player, it has to be combat damage. You can cast your commander from your command zone for free. So it doesn't matter how many times your commander's been to the damn command zone, you get to cast it for free because you're hitting somebody with this.
Or it just allows you to play a really expensive commander for cheap.
That's true too.
It allows the bigger generals to be more widely used and just cheaper to cheat in. So I think it's
I can see this going in not every commander deck, but every bigger casting.
Or if something's going to die a lot more.
Yep.
Yeah, I can definitely see this being used a lot. Like I would even, as long as it's not in the, it can't be Derevi Imperial Tactician. That'd be silly.
Or the ninja,
or the ninja one. That's you can get around commander attacks or just commander casting in general.
But any other situation with that, or if your commander's going to be a target, like if your commander's going to. Not because it's going to die of what you're doing, but if it's going to get killed because it's too good, this is one that
just
could
think
go
about
in there.
this. Okay. Worst case scenario, turn 5, cast this. Well, that's not worst case, but if you're on curve and it's in your hand, you're playing it turn 5. Attack turn 6, and then you're playing with Ramos. You cast that, and then you have 6 mana open to be able to start trying to use that ability, or just if you can use an activated ability with that extra mana, or it allows you to use protection for your commander for a turn because you have land open for it instead of having to tap out for it.
So then that's early game. You get it late game when your commander's died a bunch of times, boom, or you're holding it in your hand at that point. Yep. Your commander's out, wait till it dies, boom, get that out, hit it
for free. Yeah, it seems like a really versatile, it's good in all stages of the game.
Yeah.
Being an artifact allows it to be, there's recursion for all that stuff as well. It seems like a really good card.
Yeah. And it's only $3, so it's not expensive right now. I wish I could get it for cheaper. I bet you it'll go down a little bit here too, and then
think of it a little bit like this. We can't really compare it to it, but Command Beacon, that land that allows a card to go from your command zone into your hand, so you're cheating the commander tax that way. That's similar to what this is doing. This is, it's not a land, and it's not. This is uncommon instead of rare. So there are those distinctions, but this is kind of on that level of trying to cheat around that tax. And cheating around the commander tax tends to make cards really powerful.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. All right, I think that does it for our we never even said what episode we were on anything. We're on episode 26.
We made it to 26. We're freaking bamps.
Half a year, right?
Yeah, no, a little bit more. I mean, it's a year and half a year and a half.
Well, I mean, if you do the 52 weeks.
6.5 months, right?
No, because 52 weeks and we're 26. So 26 plus 26 is 52. Right. But yeah, so you can follow us on Twitter at CommanderSmiths.
Or you can email us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com.
Or you can go to YouTube and just subscribe, share, tell everybody about it, say things that are nice. How pretty are you? Can't
the
see
way
us.
You say it, I just want to avoid YouTube now. Sounds like you're just like a creeper on YouTube. It's like, I want to do everything for you.
All right. Well, that should do it for this week. Believe next week we might be getting your Commander Spotlight, possibly?
I think we got to fit in both.
You think?
Yeah.
We'll see if I can. If I can get mine done, we will. If we're not, we got Lowry's, and we'll figure something out.
The Return to Ravnica is coming up soon. So that's being released October 5th. I'm assuming that they're going to start doing like spoilers at the beginning of September. So if
we're going to be getting them pretty
some
quick
focus
here.
on this. We have basically 2 weeks to be able to do all this.
We'll see.
And then
Larry.
our schedules get bonkers in September and October. So
mine's about to get crazy this week. Well, I don't need to tell everybody what my schedule with it. But
Adam is such a busy person. He does so much.
I'm trying to sell one of our rental properties.
Again, I'm not sure. TMI?
Yeah, I'll cut that part out. Don't worry.
Probably not.
All right. Well, that should do it for this week. We'll catch you guys next week with some Commander Spotlight, maybe 1 or 2. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
1 or 2.
1 or 2. A number 1 or a number 2. If it's P.
Well, we're doing 1, which is mine.
P,
if it's 2, yours is gonna be shit.
We should. Oh, what a dick. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
All right.